Hello there and welcome to another video podcast. Today we'll go through individual activity types in detail and explain differences between them. Let's start with the simple information. This activity serves to simply inform about something. For example, that there is an internal acquisition going on, or that a new issue of Unicorn Comics was published. This activity can be closed by the solver directly, simply by acknowledging it. Task, on the other hand, can be solved by its solver, but it can only be changed into its final state by the submitter once they're satisfied with the result. Task tells its solvers that something needs to be done, and it supports feedback via comments and various states. Warning highlights the importance and pressure of a task that needs to be solved, and in one's task list, its icon makes sure it gets noticed. The flow, however, remains the same as with a regular task, just the content is bound to be a little more pressing. Problem is just like warning, but this time the icon is red and it signifies that it really needs solving. Problems are luckily quite rare, but should you get one, the game is on, and it is probably nothing good. An activity of the meeting type is used whenever a virtual or face-to-face meeting is needed, and it reserves time in the solver's calendars so that no other future meetings can collide. Event, on the other hand, does not prevent any meetings from taking place, as it hovers above the related days rather than within. It might signify, for example, that the person is at some particular branch and therefore can be met there in person, or that their responses might delay because they're traveling. Simple decision is an activity that poses a question or a choice, so if you're pondering a vote over a yes or no answer, this is a simple solution to it. Custom decision elaborates on the previous activity type, but instead of yes and no, it enables the author to create a number of options to choose from. So if a vote is needed over a time to have a meeting at, or a restaurant options for lunch, no need to look further. The last two activity types can hardly be mistaken for any other. Milestone is used when we'd like to mark an important milestone in calendar, for example that something should be completed within the given date. And chat is used in situations when we want to communicate a piece of information, but instead of a simple acknowledgement, we'd like to give the other party space for reaction. This activity type can be changed into its final state not only by the coordinator, but also the participant, who can simply leave the chat. To sum up, we have several activities that might be mistaken for each other. First of these is the contrast between information and task activities: task, warning, and problem. While information serves only for one-sided communication and requires nothing but acknowledgement on the solver's side, which changes it into its final state, task activities require the solver to actually produce a result. Such activity can only be changed to its final state by the submitter, and its severity can be further highlighted via the warning and problem activity types. Information can also be mistaken for chat. Information, as we already said, is but an FYI that requires nothing but acknowledgement to be considered as closed. Chat, however, provides extra space for reaction from the other side, despite it not being required. It can also be closed by either the coordinator or participant. Simple decision and custom decision can also be quite a pickle. Remember then that simple decision provides only two choices, yes or no, and it is therefore used mainly for confirmation or voting between two choices. Custom decision, on the other hand, allows the submitter to create a number of their own options for a more complex voting. A simple visualization between do you want Chinese for lunch and where do you want to go for lunch should suffice. The last confusing couplet is represented by meeting and event. The most important difference is that meeting blocks time in the participants' calendars and event does not. It only hovers above the selected dates as a marker. A typical meeting is an arrangement between a group of people that they will meet either in person or online. Event, on the other hand, marks some situation that does not exactly influence the participants' plans, and it is purely informational. See? Each activity type has its own use, and together they make a selection of options for each need that might arise. And that's it. If you're interested in more information, feel free to watch the rest of our video podcast as well. Stay tuned!